Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today between the New York Mets and the Seattle Mariners. First pitch is going to be here in roughly 5 minutes, so let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into the starting lineups. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Off the left, one of the best left fielders and DHs in the game, Juan Soto. And on the right, the phenom at second base that can play offense and defense, Cole Clutch Young. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting New York Mets. Leading off for the Mets in right field, Carson Bench. Batting second, playing shortstop, formerly of the Toronto Blue Jays, Bo Bichette. Batting third, DHing this afternoon for New York, Juan Soto. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, first baseman, Jared Young. Batting fifth, playing third base, Brett Beatty. Batting sixth, playing second base, the former Texas Ranger, Marcus Semien. Batting seventh, playing center field, A.J. Ewing. Batting eighth, playing left field, M.J. Melendez. And batting ninth, catching today for New York, Luis Torrens. And on the mound for New York, with a 3-4 record, ERA of 3.55, it is Freddie Peralta. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.B. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, welcome back to the lineup with back spasms no more. First baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Welcome back to the lineup, we missed you. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, playing right field, Luke Fraley. Batting sixth, playing second base, Cole Clutch Young. Batting seventh, DHing for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting eighth, catching today for Seattle with a 3-run blast yesterday, Johnny Pareda. Love the new photo. And batting ninth, playing third base, the phenom, Colt Emerson. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 5-4 record, ERA of 3.77, has been shaky in his last 2 starts, but it's, obviously something that we need him to get turned around. Let's get it. It is Furious George Kirby. Definitely need a good outing out of George here today if we want to try to get our 9th win in a row and get our back-to-back sweeps. We've already swept the Athletics. We've swept the Diamondbacks. They were 10-1 coming into that series. No problem for Seattle. And now we're trying to do the same thing here to the New York Mets. 293 average, 6 runs a game average, plus 30 in run differential, 21 home runs. And again, just, being able to do all of these things, in this win streak, it is absolutely phenomenal. OPS, 8.87, and the ERA from our pitchers, 1.92. Incredible. And hopefully we'll be able to continue our dominance here this afternoon. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And then another update with Cal Raleigh, getting some time with the gear, took pitches again. And again, there is a chance that he'll be able to start a rehab assignment, obviously in the farm system shortly. Still, a little ways away from getting Cal back. But as far as the other three, Carlos Vargas, Miles Mastrobuoni, and Brandon Donovan are all due back around June 4th, June 5th. But then obviously that could change if any of those three have a setback. But we're definitely getting closer to being full strength sooner than later. Very impressive that we've been able to win 8 games in a row with no Brandon Donovan and no Cal Raleigh. But it does show you how deep this team truly is. Even with a horrific start, to the season, we're still one of the best. And again, the roster doesn't lie. And again, we just need to be able to keep the faith and know that we're going to go through peaks and valleys. We're going to go through ups and downs. And it, probably couldn't get any worse than it did, in those first, 15, 20 games. But again, we're definitely rolling right now at the right time. And again, we're trying to get our 9th win in a row. And again, pretty crazy to think that, even just a few weeks back, the Mariners winning, let alone 2 games in a row, felt like impossible. Like we weren't going to ever be able to win 2 or 3 in a row. And then now we're on the brink of winning 9 in a row and getting back-to-back sweeps. Pretty fucking incredible if you ask me. And again, I'm definitely ready for this game here today. We just got to hope that George Kirby can get the job done. And as long as he's able to give up 3 runs or less, preferably 0-2, that's going to be exactly where we want him. Let's get it. Julie in the building, what's good? All day in the building, what's good? Hawks in the building, let's get it, baby. Richard's in the building. I see you, Wade. Dark Passenger in the building, let's get it. And, based on Johnny's performance, we might have found our new backup catcher behind Cal Raleigh. Now, we got to be able to see a little bit more of a full sample, out of Johnny Pereda for the whole year. But again, who knows if Mitch Garver will be on the team, next year or not. But, the way that Johnny has been playing lately, pretty damn good, for considering 3rd string catcher. But he could end up being 2nd string next year. George Kirby on the mound, 5-4 record, 3.77 ERA, even though he's had 2 bad starts back-to-back. But again, George normally doesn't have 3 in a row. So again, in the, offense is definitely doing their job as well as the defense. So again, even if he gives up a home run here and there, an RBI here and there, as long as he's somewhat decent and the bats come alive, even if he ends up having an average performance, we should hopefully end up getting the sweep here today. And we do get Josh Naylor back into the lineup. Back spasms are gone. And, we had a great performance out of Patrick Wisdom yesterday as well, getting the 2-run jack. But again, we're definitely happy to have our regular first baseman stud back, Josh Naylor. 50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40-plus years on the radio for Rick Rids. He's retiring after this season, so we want to make sure we go out with a bang, and we are going to dedicate every stream this season to the legend and the icon, Rick Rids. Trident's up. Let's go M's. And I absolutely love that we're getting, so much production out of Cole Young and Colt Emerson, and it really does show the youth movement is in full force. And on top of that, we got Cade Anderson and Ryan Sloan in the farm system that are going to have a big impact on this team when they get called up as well. A very exciting time to be a fan of the Seattle Mariners. All right, we're just about ready to get into first pitch here. First pitch is high and away, 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 1-0 count. Kirby on the mound, Carson Benj in the box, and he ended up getting 2 home runs yesterday and accounting for all of their 3 runs last night. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour. Looked like it got a little piece of the corner, but no challenge there. 2 balls and no strikes to Carson Benj. 2-0 pitch, fouled off. 4-seam fastball right down the middle, 97 miles an hour, out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Benj. Velasco in the building, what's good? 2-1 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 97 miles an hour there by George Kirby. 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Mets and the Mariners. 3-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour there by Kirby. Count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Carson Benj. And we'll be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train, and 5 to 15 subs. 10 subs away from 24,200. 3-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. And that's the start that we wanted to see. Way to bring a little bit of electricity after having 2 shaky starts. Nice job, George Kirby, bringing the electricity right out of the gate with his first punch out on his first batter. Nice job, Furious George. 1 up and 1 down. Down goes Carson Bench, who had 2 homers yesterday. Great job. Great start. Next up, in the 2-hole, shortstop, Bo Bichette. First pitch is high and away to Bo Bichette. 1-0 count. We have lately been dominating the Reds, the Mets, and the Pirates, and hopefully that'll continue, for this particular game here today. Winning 9 in a row just sounds kind of crazy, but we are the hottest team in baseball, and hopefully we can keep it that way. 0-1 pitch fouled off, high and inside. Sinker 97 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Bichette. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Bichette. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Two 2-1 pitch. Little check swing there by Bichette. Ump says he does not go around. Let's take a replay and see if he does. Yeah, it definitely looked like he went around. I'm not really sure what the ump was looking at there. 3 balls and 1 strike to Bo Bichette. 3-1 pitch. Fouls it behind the plate and loses the bat at the same time. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Bichette. And again, you don't really know, if Pareda can keep it up, throughout the whole season. And obviously we know we're going to be getting Cal back. So it's like we're not going to be seeing too much, of Garver or Pareda, we assume, once Cal comes back. But, good to be able to have some guys that we can rely on, even though, they're not the greatest, players, as far as, compared to some of the others on the team. But anything that you can get, out of the role players, whether it be Victor Robles, Miles Mastroboni, when he comes back from the injury, Rob Refsnyder, obviously we know he's our worst hitter. And we definitely have seen Garver, get a little bit better, and Pareda as well. And then even getting Patrick Wisdom a little bit of reps, and he showed that he can do it as well last night. First home run that he's had in, since 2024. So great to be able to see the depth that this team has, not only in the farm system, but also on the team itself. Pitch fouled off right down the middle there by Bichette. Count is still full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Bo. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball into right field, and that drops right in front of Luke Raley on a 2-hopper. And a nice single there for Bo Bichette. And hopefully we'll be able to get a few double plays and help Kirby out, especially if he ends up being a little bit shaky. Again, I don't assume him to get a shutout. Hopefully he gives up only 1 or 2 runs, 3 at the most. But as long as, our offense scores 5 to 10, even if he gives up 3 or 4, it should still be a victory. Next up in the 3-hole, DHing the future Hall of Famer Juan Soto. Not playing left field today, and that could come into our advantage here this afternoon. First pitch to Soto, little blooper, and a little blooper that lands right in between Julio and Randy Arozarena. And Kirby giving up back-to-back hits here. We're going to need a little help from the defense. Next up in the 4-hole, playing first base today, had a home run in game number 1 in the series, Jared Young. And we definitely need a slow dribbler up the middle, or a double play on deck will be Brett Beatty. Love in the building. What's good? First pitch to Young. High and away, but called strike from the ump there. Maybe a little generous. But it looks like it might have been right on the line. 0-1 count. Come on, George. Normally, George is, one of the top 3 guys in the rotation, but again, a lot of competition now. Little dribbler up the middle. Give me that double play. Oh my God, high throw. What happened? Jesus. What was that? Run comes home, and that has to be an error. Jesus. Naylor, what are you doing? And that's back-to-back, opportunities for Josh, not only in the last game, but this game coming off the back spasms. That could have maybe been at least a fielder's choice or potentially a double play, but Naylor with the bad throw. Soto safe at second on the throwing error by Naylor. Bichette to third. Yikes. And that's not what we want to see. We need our defense to be top tier, especially with a pitcher like George, who's been struggling in his last 2 starts. Maybe Naylor should have taken another day off if we're going to get this version of Josh, and maybe should have had Patrick Wisdom in there. First pitch to Beatty, big swing and a miss, 0-1 count. And we are down 1-0. And we'll see if the ESPN will update the scoreboard sooner than later. 0-1 pitch. Chopped into left field, fading foul. No balls and 2 strikes to Brett Beatty. Come on, Kirby. You can't be pitching like fucking Luis Castillo out there. We need you to be on the Brian Wu, the Bryce Miller, Emerson Hancock level. We need you to be on that level. And right now, within the last couple games, he's looking more like Logan Gilbert when Gilbert is struggling, or a Castillo. So never would have thought that Kirby would be on the lower end of the rotation lately, even though he has been a top 2, top 3 guy. And he, at one point, was our number 1, based off record and ERA. But it is a long season, and a lot of things can happen. Runners at first and second here in the top of the first. We're down 1-0 already. First time that we've been down in a minute. And a big swing and a miss. Down goes Beatty. And that is 2 away. Come on, George. Don't be pitching like Gilbert and Castillo. You got to be pitching like Hancock, Wu, and Miller. Let's go. Down goes Beatty with the big swing and a miss. That is 2 away. And we got to make sure we limit the damage here and not let them score any more. Next up in the 6th hole, second baseman Marcus Semien. First pitch to Semien with the little check swing. And Johnny is challenging here. Looks like it was right on the line. Hopefully Pareto will win this challenge. And just outside. Missing it by, 0.1? 0.4. So we lose 1 challenge here, and it's tough when you end up losing challenges by 0.1 to 0.4. So close. 1 ball and no strikes to Marcus Semien. 1-0 pitch from Kirby. Popped up into right field, out of play. With the sinker there by Kirby, 97 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. We're down 1-0. Still can find a way to win this game. The offense has been extremely hot, and we're going to definitely need them to do that in this game as well. Alex with a tour. Appreciate you. 1-1 pitch. Fouled back behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Marcus Semien. Alex getting us started with a $2 holla, 98 to go. Appreciate you. One-two pitch to Semien. And a little line drive, thankfully, to J.P. Crawford right into his glove. And again, if that would have went past J.P., pretty good chance that we could have ended up being down 2-0. And who knows, could have ended up turning into 3-0 or 4-0 if they keep going down that batting order. So, again, not ideal. We haven't been down that much, in this 8-game win streak early on. But again, hopefully we can end up getting our bats to come alive immediately, and we can respond with a 1-1 tie or even take a 2-1 lead. But George definitely not looking that good in the last 3 starts. But again, hopefully he can settle down and settle in. We can't have him give up any more than 3 at the very max, especially when we don't really know who's going to be coming in for him in the bullpen. All right, offense. time to get the job done. We've been red hot in this 8-game win streak, and we need that to continue. Leading off for the Mariners, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, extremely hot in May, and now extending into June. Center fielder, the best in the game, Julio Rodriguez. And batting third with an error already. Had back spasms, missed the game. Patrick Wisdom came in yesterday and hit a 2-run jack. Josh, you got to make up for that error, and hopefully we'll be able to get a home run or an RBI out of Josh. Batting third, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. 10 subs away from 24,200. We gained a sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 9 subs to go to 24,200. All right, 2 on the dono train. 98 to go. And we're at 32 likes so far. Good start. 68 to 100. Naylor had the error with a wild throw to second base when we could have had a double play or at least a fielder's choice. But unfortunately, Naylor with the high throw. First pitch takes a strike looking, high and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch fouled off there by JP. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour by Freddie Peralta. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. 1-0 New York after an error by Josh Naylor, throwing to second, scoring a run. And Bichette scoring on that error, 1-0 New York. And I'm not sure if the Mets are going to do the same thing that they've done in the first 2 games where they have their starting pitcher only pitch an inning or 2 and make a substitution. It obviously didn't work, and we'll see if they end up doing it for the 3rd day in a row. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Freddie Peralta to J.P. Crawford. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full after that 4-seam fastball missing by Peralta. 93 miles an hour. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. 4-seam fastball, 4 out of 5 pitches and 1 changeup. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball, deep right field, back, gone! J.P. Crawford says, you know what? We're on an 8-game win streak, and I'll make up for Josh Naylor's error, and I'll end up hitting a home run my goddamn self. Nice job, J.P. Crawford, 409 feet. Way to bring the electricity. Immediately, you ask for a response, and the sports gods deliver. 1-1, Mets and Mariners. Fucking A, let's go. Trident's up, let's go fucking M's. That's how you fucking respond when you're the hottest team in baseball. You know, you have an error by Josh Naylor, and the first batter gets a home run. Unbelievable. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, who's been extremely hot as well. And again, you know, hopefully we can end up having everyone feed off the emotion of the Trident air in the dughouse there by J.P. Crawford. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Peralta to Julio Rodriguez. And again, we started off extremely slow, and if we didn't have all of those injuries and, you know, poor managing and, you know, a tough start, being the worst hitting team in baseball, you know, it's a pretty good possibility that we could have, you know, had a record similar to the Yankees or the Rays. But again, I was looking at the standings last night. They're not that far ahead of us anymore. They used to be like 10 games ahead of us. They're only like 3 now. So again, if we can end up winning this game, getting the sweep back to back to back, winning 9 in a row, having the day off, and then if we can end up continuing this hot streak against the Tigers on the road, we may end up being the team with the best record in the American League in about a week or so. It's very possible. I thought it would be a lot longer, you know, until we caught up to New York and Tampa Bay, but you know, we're right there on a 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss by Julio, and that is 1 up and 1 down. But again, you know, we're right there, you know, with about 3-4 games above 500 with the White Sox and the obviously Cleveland Guardians. And then that next step is to get to the Yankee Tampa Bay Ray, you know, win-loss record. And again, they were about 10 games ahead of us, but when you end up winning 8 in a row, things change quick, right? And we have a chance to go 9 in a row, and hopefully we'll do that. First pitch to Josh Naylor, four-seam fastball by Freddie Peralta in there for a strike, 0-1 count. And look at that. We got the most home runs at our home ballpark with 50. Reds are number 2 with 47. Dodgers, Yankees at 45. Orioles at 43. So with the hardest hitting ballpark in MLB, doesn't matter. We're still finding ways to be the number 1 home run team at our home ballpark with 50 home runs so far. That's incredible. 1-1 pitch. And Naylor pops it up. And it's in foul territory. And that is 2 up and 2 down. Nice catch there by Beatty in foul territory at third. Next up in the 4-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Freddie Peralta on the mound. 3-4 record with an ERA of 3.55 coming in. And another thing that has benefited us, lately, if we're being honest, with the Athletic Series, the Diamondback Series, and especially this series with the Mets, we haven't seen too many left-handed pitching, opponents. And again, when we ended up going against lefties, whether they had a good win-loss record or a bad win-loss record, ERA of 2 or 12, normally it was tough sledding. But, lately we've been getting a lot of righties, and we definitely have been making the other teams pay the price. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away. Slider 83 miles an hour by Freddie Peralta. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. 1-2 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Peralta to Arozarena. I mean, if JP is willing to take less money and be a backup player to try to help us win a World Series, I wouldn't mind him having, him back on the team next year. But I definitely don't want Castillo back on the team, especially with the log jam that we have with the other 5 starters already. Castillo obviously makes it, number 6. So if we get rid of him, we're still going to have the same problem if they call up Cade Anderson or Ryan Sloan. But, I think we would be much happier with those guys on the squad than what we've seen out of Castillo this year. 3-2 pitch, high and inside, and a good at-bat. And Randy gets punched out for strike 3, but he is challenging. And if Randy ends up not winning this challenge, we'll be out of challenges. And yes, just barely. How close is that? Show me. 0.3. And we end up getting the walk. So we lost the first challenge with Pareda being off by 0.3, which is, very, very close. And that one was 0.4 and 0.4, 0.3, and we'll take it. So instead of that being strike 3, end of the inning, that turns into a walk. Great challenge there by Randy Arozarena. Next up is Luke Raley. First pitch to Luke Raley. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Try dance up. Let's go M's. Because obviously we know Colt Emerson is a goddamn phenom with Colt. So when they play side by side, at shortstop and second, it's going to be the most amazing thing we've ever seen. And then if we can get Donnie healthy at third and Naylor at first, and they can be reliable, it'll be one of the best defensive infields in the game. And again, you're going to get an occasional error, from Naylor and Donnie. But again, you have to realize Donnie normally doesn't play third. He normally plays like a second or short. So he's playing a new position this year as well. But a little bit better than everyone else there. But Colt has done a great job, much better than Leo Rivas. That's for damn sure. 1-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes with the runner at first, Randy Arozarena with 2 outs. We've tied the game at 1 with JP Crawford being a G, and hopefully we can find a way to add on a little more. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and down goes Luke Raley, and now that is out number 3. And it's very crucial, when you end up getting down early in a game, regardless if you're on an 8-game win streak or an 8-game losing streak, you want to respond immediately. So that way you're not looking at the scoreboard with a 0 for 3, 4, 5, 6 innings, and then hoping that, you can end up having that, really good inning in the last 3, in the 7th, 8th, or 9th. So great job there by JP. And now we have the game tied at 1. And let's see who's up next here for the New York Mets. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. End of the first inning, 1-1, Mets and Mariners. And it's been kind of this way. We get a home run, they get a home run. We get a 2-run jack, they get a 2-run jack. And obviously we haven't really seen it play out where we had an error and then they had an error. They didn't have one yet, but hopefully they will. But again, at least we get the J.P. Crawford home run. And let's see who is up next here for New York. Next up for the Mets, in the 7-hole, center fielder A.J. Ewing. Batting second in the 8-hole, left fielder M.J. Melendez. And batting third in the 9-hole, catcher Luis Torrens. And on the mound, struggling here a little bit early on, 5-4 record, ERA of 3.77, George Kirby. And again, if he ends up giving up 2, 3, 4 runs, we'll be okay as long as our offense puts up 5 runs or more. But if we don't, then it could really come down to at the end of the game after Kirby exits, if he has another, bad start, that the bullpen has to be immaculate. And then we have to hope for some late inning heroics with some RBIs and home runs from our studs in Seattle. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. Awesome. 7 subs to go to 24,200. We're at 2 on the Dono train. 98 to go. And first pitch to AJ Ewing is coming in here in just a moment. We got a pitch comm issue, I think, here. Trying to get it all situated. Johnny Pareda making sure he can hear everything correctly. And we're at 49 likes, 51 to 100. But again, based on how Johnny Pareda has played, if they decide to move on from Mitch Garver, I don't think any of us fans would complain of having Johnny as our backup. And then JP, obviously we've been very critical of him with all the errors, but he is number 3 on the team in home runs, which is something to keep an eye on. Luke Raley, Julio Rodriguez, and JP Crawford doing the job. And, JP knows that, he's about to lose his job to Colt Emerson at short. But again, I think that he still would be a valuable backup rotational piece that we could have on the team next year. And again, as long as he's okay with taking less money and having a lesser of a role, you never know. An injury here, an injury there, he could end up, helping us out, especially if, we don't wish, for any players to get hurt. But let's just say Colt Emerson ends up, hurting his arm or his elbow and he has to miss, let's say a few days. It would be nice to have a JP Crawford back as long as he can end up being better at defense than he has been early on, and he can continue to swing that bat the way that he has this season. So they're still trying to get the pitch comm situation here settled in. It looks like Johnny is good to go now. First pitch from Kirby to AJ Ewing, no relation to Patrick, and a little dribbler up the middle and goes in between JP and Cole Young. There's no opportunity to dive for that one, and a nice base knock up the middle there by AJ Ewing. And everything that Kirby is throwing down the middle, in these last 3 starts, the opponents have been crushing him. So I don't know what's going on with him, if he's got a minor injury or if he's in his head. But again, he was spectacular to start the year. But the last 3 starts, including this one, a little shaky. And hopefully he doesn't give up, 3, 4 runs like he had in those previous 2 starts. But he's kind of trending that way, already giving up 1 in the first. First pitch is fouled off there by MJ Melendez, 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. But again, we're going to see this. Some pitchers are going to start off really hot and they're going to hit a wall, and others are going to be terrible and they're going to get better, like Logan Gilbert. Terrible in his first 2 starts and starting to get back to where, he was. Emerson Hancock obviously went the opposite way from being bad to being really, really good for us. And Bryce Miller is electric with Brian Wu right now as probably the 2 best. So, to have Wu and to have Emerson Hancock and Miller, lighting it up. And then we just got to hope, that Kirby, Gilbert, and Castillo can catch up the best way that they can. Pitch is low and away with the changeup, 87 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to MJ Melendez. And I'm really happy the heat wave has ended. It was 90 yesterday, and today about 20 degrees cooler, around high 60s to low 70s. So much better for me and the pup. 1-1 pitch, high and away. Four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by George Kirby. 2 balls and 1 strike with a runner at first and no outs. Top of the second inning. We're tied up at 1. Josh Naylor with a throwing error, scoring Bo Bichette. And then we had J.P. Crawford in the first at-bat, opportunity to tie the game up, and he does it with a big blast. And again, it ended up going 409 feet, which is pretty good for him for being kind of a smaller player, to right center field, and we're tied up at 1 here in the second. 2-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking with the knuckle curve, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to MJ Melendez. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. My guy. 2-2 pitch, little dribbler towards first and foul. Sweeper, 86 miles an hour there by Kirby. And now, obviously, after Kirby, has given up quite a few hits already, 3, he's not really going down the middle. He's definitely trying to paint the corners and going inside and outside. And as long as the Mets chase, we'll be fine. 2-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. That was a beautiful knuckle curve. One of the better ones I've seen out of Kirby this season. And that is strike 3. There we go, George. Down goes MJ Melendez, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Next up for the Mets in the 9-hole, catcher Luis Torrens. And I wouldn't mind getting a slow dribbler up the middle for a double play for JP, Cole Young, and Naylor here. And again, when a guy's a little shaky, you want the defense to help out as much as they can. Starting pitching has been excellent. Defense has been excellent for the most part, even though with the Naylor error today. But they've definitely cleaned up a lot of those mistakes in this 8-game win streak. Hitting has been superb. And even the bullpen has done a pretty damn good job, even though we don't really trust Mooney, but again, overall, things have really started to fall into place. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike looking, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Torrens. I wouldn't mind back-to-back strikeouts either if we can get them from Kirby, but definitely has looked a little shaky with 3 hits already given up in the second inning. 0-2 pitch from Kirby to Torrens, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Kirby to Torrens. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Wednesday. It's been a spectacular week here for us Mariner fans. Number 1, team in the MLB with 8 wins in a row. And we're trying to get our 3rd sweep in a row here today. 1-2 pitch, little slow dribbler, throw to first. And got him. And that is 2 away. Nice job there by Colt Emerson. And again, I'm just so impressed, and I'm not really surprised because I've been following Cole and Colt in the farm system since we drafted them. And, again, when they hype up certain type of players, you're going to get certain organizations and certain beat writers that are going to go a little bit above and beyond with, kind of hyping a guy up. But with these 2 guys, they are legit, and we've already seen it, early on with Cole Young and Colt Emerson. And I just can't wait for Ryan Sloan and Kate Anderson, a lefty and a righty, to come on board and help this team advance even further. Next up is Carson Bench. First pitch, takes a strike looking with the knuckle curve right down the middle, 83 miles an hour, 0-1 count. I agree. Gilbert is starting to kind of get into his bag. Instead of getting, 4 to 7 Ks, he's starting to get into that 8 to 10 range, around 8 or 9 specifically. And again, as long as the offense can help him out, I do have faith on Gilbert getting better. I just don't have a whole lot of faith in Castillo and Mooney at this point. But, we just have to hope that they can end up going from both being bad to at least being average. Knuckle curve missing there by George Kirby to Carson Bench, who had 2 home runs and was responsible for all of their 3 runs yesterday. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Bench as that knuckle curve goes high and away, 83 miles an hour. 2-1 pitch, paints the corner beautifully there with the knuckle curve. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Bench. Four-seam fastball, 16, knuckle curve, 7, sinker, sweeper, 7, and changeup, 2. So Kirby is definitely in his bag so far. 2-2 pitch, high and away, sweeper missing. Count is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to bench. And it's just very exciting to look at the standings and see, we're only a couple games away from the Yankees and the Rays, which, were about 10 games ahead of us, just a little while back. But again, when you go on an 8-game win streak, you can definitely cut into their lead. And, could be sooner than later, the Mariners have the best record in the American League. Little slow dribbler to JP. Nice traditional throw to Josh Naylor. Toe tap on the bag, and that is out number 3. Great job, George. And again, he's given up 3 hits within the first 2 innings. But again, the Naylor error, was responsible for the run. And it looks like George is starting to settle down slightly. All right, let's see if we can score another run or 2 and take the lead, 2-1 or 3-1, and not look back. And we also will be curious to see if they take out their pitcher, which they normally have done in the first 2 games after the first or the second inning. And obviously that strategy backfired tremendously for the Mets. But hell, if they want to continue to keep doing that, we're all for it. Next up in the 6th hole, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. Batting second in the 7th hole, DHing, it's the Italian Stallion, Dominic Canzone. And batting third in the 8th hole, fresh with the new photo from yesterday, catcher Johnny Pareda. And I've been waiting for them to be able to take a few more photos of a few guys on the team, and we finally get one that will stick here on the channel. I love it. And that's after his 3-run blast yesterday, Johnny Pareda. Great job. Great to have good depth, and I'm glad that they chose him over Kisner. And again, we got good backups. We got a lot of depth on this team. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 7 subs away from 24,200. We gained another sub, so 6 now. Until we get to that number, we should be able to get that number here today. We should hit 6 million views in about a day or 2 on the channel, which is very exciting. We're at 2 on the Dono train, 98 to go. We just hit 5 million views a few months back, so we're on 6 million. So to get 1 million views is not easy. And again, it feels very good on where we're trending. And we're at 57 likes, 43 to go. And shout out to our female audience, as well as everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and beyond. I get all the metrics of the age of the people that are watching, male and female, as well as location all over planet Earth. And it's just kind of humbling to see how many people are really watching all over the globe, not just in the United States, for our Seattle Mariner coverage. Pitch popped up on the 1-0 pitch, and an easy out there for the Mets on Cole Young, popping up to Bo Bichette, and that is 1 up and 1 down. And hopefully we'll get Cole to work the count a little bit more in his next at-bat. Next up, in the 7th hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. Let's see if the Italian Stallion can get the job done. And having more Luke Raley and Dominic Canzone in the lineups going against righty pitching against the A's, the Diamondbacks, and the Mets have really helped us. Because imagine if we had, a higher percentage of left-handed starters and bullpen, we probably wouldn't be on an 8-game win streak. We probably would have maybe half of that, but maybe not 8. And it's just nice to be able to see, our main guys playing. A strong lefty lineup. And again, we know that Rob Ref Snyder is still going to get a chance to play here and there, like Victor Robles. And again, Johnny Pareda doing a great job. And, it's nice to be able to see kind of the lower guys on the team step up. And they definitely have in this 8-game win streak. Pitch fouled off, low and away. No balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. 0-2 pitch for a ball, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. 1-2 pitch, low and away with a curveball bouncing into the dirt to Luis Torrens. Good eye there by Dom. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. Someone from Michigan calling me. Not right now. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Peralta to Canzone. Angry with a 5er. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. 3-2 pitch. Hard hit ball. Wow, how did he gobble that up? Throw to first, and that is 2 up and 2 down. That was impressive. Marcus Semien with the good defense there. Next up in the 8-hole, catcher Johnny Pareda. Love this photo of Johnny. You know, all the other photos I had were more like kind of spring training photos where he's just kind of wearing the gear and whatnot. And look at that, Johnny Pareda. He is feeling himself, right? After getting the big 3-run blast and getting a single, the hot streak continues. And again, it's good for his mentals. And again, we love seeing our third string catcher, you know, behind Cal Raleigh and Mitch Garver. And if he keeps playing like this, he's going to turn into the backup over Mitch Garver. And lately he has. You know, they definitely have been swinging a little bit more towards Pareda with another bat flip. He loves doing those. Nice job there by Johnny. And hopefully we'll get a few more awesome photos like this one. Great job from Johnny. You know, the maybe weak link in the lineup hitting wise, not a weak link obviously here lately. Great job. Next up is Colt Emerson, the phenom. First pitch, big swing and a miss, low and away, 0-1 count. Bottom of the second inning with a runner at first with 2 outs. Let's see if we can get a 2-out rally going here with Colt Emerson. Love him. 0-1 pitch, low and away. Change up missing. 1 ball and 1 strike from Freddie Peralta to Colt Emerson. And again, 3-4 record with an ERA of 3.55, so nothing that we're intimidated by whatsoever. And honestly, we play good, you know, against, you know, typically really good pitchers anyways. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Slider almost hitting Colt there on the knee. 2 balls and 1 strike to Colt Emerson. Trident's up. Let's go Ems. Two-one pitch and a little one hopper. Peralta with the underhand throw, toe tap on the bag, and that is out number 3. The rally stalls, but a great job by Johnny Pareda showing us that, hey, you know, he's really feeling himself catching and hitting. And again, it's just great to be able to see, you know, role players step up and play like starters and sometimes even play better than the starters. Great job. All right, let's go to the top of the 3rd inning and see who's up next here for the Mets. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Next up for the Mets, 1 for 1 with a run, shortstop Bo Bichette. Batting second in the 3-hole, 1 for 1, DHing Juan Soto. And batting third, 0 for 1, first baseman in the 4-hole, Jared Young. And on the mound for the Mariners, 5-4 record, ERA of 3.77. George Kirby. You know, at one point, you know, he was like 4-2, so things have kind of gone a little sideways, you know, for George within the last few starts, but you know, hopefully the offense can make up for it, and at least the game is tied at the moment. Kirby, 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, no earned runs, no walks, which is great. 3 Ks, 42 pitches, 28 strikes with 3.67 ERA. And then for Freddie Peralta, 2 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 2 Ks, 37 pitches, 21 strikes with a 3.57 ERA. And again, the Mets have replaced their starting pitcher after the 1st and 2nd inning in the first 2 games. And we'll find out in the 3rd if they end up, you know, doing that same strategy or if they actually let Freddie Peralta try to go 6 or 7. JT from Denmark is in the building. What's good? Ireland in the building. What's good? I see you, Dennis. Great to be able to see our international fan base growing on the daily. Sunny in the building. I see you. Sean in the building. How are you? It's a great blend of young and a little bit older vets on this team, you know, and again, you know, Yankees and the Rays and the Guardians and the White Sox are playing some good ball, you know, but there is nobody in MLB that is hotter than us right now. And to do it with no Cal Raleigh and no Brandon Donovan, 2 of our top, you know, 6 players on the team is incredible. And it really does show the depth, you know, and thankfully we have Cole Young and Colt Emerson to kind of, you know, fill in some of those gaps that we needed. And it's just about, you know, staying hot and staying confident. Top of the 3rd inning, 1-1, Mets and Mariners. First pitch into Bo Bichette is in there for a strike, right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, fouled off into right field with the sweeper, 86 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to Bo Bichette. Let's go, baby. And an 0-2 pitch, little slow dribbler there by Bichette. And he stays hot in this game. 2nd hit of the day for Bo Bichette. But hopefully that'll help us lead to a double play at some point or another. Good day for Bo so far, 2 for 2. Next up in the 3-hole, DHing Juan Soto. First pitch to Soto, fouls it behind the plate towards the T-Mobile bricks, four-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Right ends up, let's go M's. Oh-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Soto. But just to see the depth on this team with pitchers, the bullpen, the hitters, the guys that are in the farm, and a few of them will get called up, in the next couple years. Some even maybe this year. Like, we don't expect Ryan Sloan to get called up this year. That'll be probably next year, or the year after, depending on how he develops. But it definitely feels like maybe next year. And then with Cade Anderson, it could be definitely this year at some point in summer where we end up bringing him up to help, fill out the pen. And if there ends up being an injury, he could be a guy that could, or a couple injuries, he could be a guy that could step into the starting, spot, like the 5-hole, and be just fine with us. 1-1 pitch, takes a strike, looking low and at the knees with the knuckle curve. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Juan Soto. 1-2 pitch, another ball there to Soto. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Soto. 2-2 pitch, popped up and out of play. Knuckle curve, 83 miles an hour, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first. Bo Bichette with no outs. Top of the 3rd inning. We're knotted up at 1. Come on, George. Two-two pitch. Soto pops it up. Should be a routine play here for JP. And it is. And that is 1 up and 1 down. Great job there by JP Crawford. Down goes Juan Soto, flying out to the shortstop. And that is 1 away. Next up in the 4-hole, playing first base today, Jared Young. On deck is Brett Beatty. See if we can get a slow dribbler up the middle for a double play to get out of this inning to help George out. Unless George is able to get a strikeout and a pop-up, or a strikeout and a ground out, or best case scenario, besides a double play, 2 punch-outs back-to-back. But based on how Kirby has pitched so far, I don't know how many strikeouts he's going to end up with. Kind of feels like maybe only 4 to 7 total based on how he's pitched so far, even though he's got 3 so far. And a line drive that gets past Cole Young on that knuckle curve. And now we got runners at first and second with 1 out. Mets are really finding a way to rough up Kirby. And again, every team that Kirby has faced in his last 3 starts have not been fooled, by his arsenal. Nice diving attempt there by Cole Young, but just out of reach. Hard hit ball there by Jared Young. All right, we got to settle down and settle in, and hopefully the defense can bail Kirby out, because still looking a little shaky again. Next up is Brett Beatty. On deck is Marcus Semien. Come on, Mariners. Try to keep this game obviously tied up at 1 until we go up and hopefully take the lead. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. Mike in the building, Landon in the building. What's good? One-oh pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes from Kirby to Beatty. And you can definitely tell Kirby is uncomfortable because he's not really going down the middle like he normally does with the confidence to blow, past a lot of these hitters, with his stuff. So he's really having to be a little bit more, a little bit more careful on where he's painting those corners, inside and outside. And again, luckily he doesn't really walk a whole lot of guys, but definitely very, very cautious approach. And I understand why. I mean, he's been roughed up his last 3 starts. And again, at least it's not, 3-4 runs yet, but hopefully we'll be able to shut it down here, this little drive and momentum that the Mets are getting here in the 3rd. 2-1 pitch to Beatty. Little dribbler up the middle. Give me the double play. Young to JP, and a fielder's choice out at second. Not enough time to get that throw back to first, and we'll take that. And that is 2 away with runners now on the corners at first and third. Good defense there by Cole Young. Unfortunately, just not enough time to be able to get the double play, but we do get the fielder's choice. Young out at second, Beatty at first, and Bichette at third. Next up is Marcus Simeon, who's 0 for 1, the former Texas Ranger. And then Pareda ends up having a mound visit with George. I think that's great timing, to be able to kind of calm him down, to get him settled down and to settle in. And hopefully we'll be able to get a pop-up ground out or a strikeout here. And then we'll be able to hopefully take the lead in the bottom of the third with the Mariner bats. Top of the third inning, runners at first and third with 2 outs. And again, it's not ideal seeing George give up so many hits, but at the end of the day, it's all about how many RBIs are you giving up in home runs. And as long as, we can keep that to 3 or less total runs given up by George, should give us a really good chance on winning this game, especially if the bats continue to stay hot, and hopefully our bullpen will be a little bit better than theirs towards the end of the game as well. First pitch is fouled off there by Simeon with a sweeper, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Kirby, popped up behind the plate to the T-Mobile bricks. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Simeon. George Kirby on the mound, Marcus Simeon in the box. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 0-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did. Yes, there we go. And that is strike 3 on Marcus Simeon. Good job, George. All right, let's go to the bottom of the third inning, and it's time to take the lead. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 1 with a run, RBI, solo dinger to get us tied at 1-1. Let's see if JP can do it again. He's done it before. Let's go, JP Crawford. Batting second, 0 for 1 with a K, center fielder, the best in the game. It's J-Rod, Julio Rodriguez. Not very many guys that I think that are on Julio's level at center field, especially this season, where he's finally been able to put together a great first half. He's maturing, and again, it took him 5 years, but again, hopefully it'll be a trend moving forward where we're going to get an amazing Julio Rodriguez in the beginning of the season, and after the All-Star break, we can always count on him being great then. And batting third, 0 for 1, first baseman Josh Naylor, who ended up having a throwing error that ended up scoring Bo Bichette in the first inning. And hopefully Josh will be able to get a single, double, RBI or home run to make up for it. Trident sub, let's go M's. 6 subs away from 24,200. We gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. Thank you so much. 4 subs to go to 24,200. We're at 7 on the dono train, 93 to go. And we're at 81 likes. Good start. 19 to 100. Jerry in the building, Lauren in the building. How are you? First pitch is high and away with the changeup, 87 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch from Peralta in there for a strike. So this is the first time that we're seeing the Mets, go with their starter more than 2 innings. So we'll see if this is going to be, 5 or 6 innings, out of Peralta unless we rough him up or his pitch count gets up. Pitch is high and away with a slider. 2 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. 2-1 pitch, low and away. Called ball by the ump, challenged by Terens. And let's see if this ends up being 3-1 or 2-2. And ends up winning the challenge there. Call gets reversed, and the Mets win the challenge. 2 balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 2-2 pitch from Peralta. Hard hit ball into right field. Yes. And it drops fair. Go, JP. Go. Go, JP. And that's going to be a stand-up double for JP Crawford. Man, he is hot lately. Let's go. Luke Raley, Julio Rodriguez, and JP Crawford all with double-digit home runs for the Mariners. Great job there by JP. Really trying to show, not only the fan base, but the organization, that he wants to be a part of this World Series run after this year. And again, JP Crawford, I wouldn't mind having him back on the team as a backup, obviously, next season. Nice job there by JP. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch is high and inside, 1-0 count. One-0 pitch, low and away with the slider, 84 miles an hour, 2 balls and no strikes from Peralta to Julio. And you never know who's going to end up being the unexpected hero. Like, I don't think anyone had on their bingo card yesterday Patrick Wisdom, and Johnny Pareda. But again, when things are going well, you just never know. With the depth that we have on this team, anybody could end up being the hero 1 through 9, or even someone coming in late to pinch hit. 2-0 pitch, low and away, four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, 3 balls and no strikes from Peralta to Julio. Appreciate that, Arza. Unfortunately, I'm only supporting, my really good friend, obviously an up-and-coming producer here in the Pacific Northwest. So I won't be using anybody's beats besides him on the channel. But thank you for, obviously, the kind gesture. Bottom of the third inning, we're tied at 1 with a runner at second with no outs. And we got a 3-0 count here from Freddie Peralta to Julio Rodriguez. 3-0 pitch, low and away, and Julio forcing a walk. I like this. This could be the meltdown that we've been waiting for. Here we go. Julio at first, JP with a double at second, and now we have an opportunity for Josh Naylor to make up for that throwing error to give the Mets an early 1-0 lead. Let's see if Naylor can end up getting a RBI or a home run. He is very overdue, and hopefully we can get Naylor with a home run or a big RBI here in this game. And hopefully right now. Let's see if Naylor can come up big. First pitch to Naylor. Low and away. Good eye. Not swinging at that garbage. Change up missing. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch with the check swing. Low and away. Did he go? No, he did not. Good at bat here for Naylor. Just be patient, especially if Peralta is starting to have a little bit of a meltdown and can't hit the strike zone. You don't want to bail out pitchers, by keeping their pitch count low and then getting behind in the count when you could be ahead in the count. 2-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. Change up, 87 miles an hour, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second and no outs. Bottom of the third inning, we're tied at 1, and we're looking for our 9th win in a row and our back-to-back sweep opportunity. We've already swept the Athletics and the Diamondbacks, but we're hungry for our 3rd sweep in a row. 2-1 pitch popped up in the shallow left, and that is caught. Runners cannot advance, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Next up for the Mariners in the 4-hole, the most consistent hitter from the beginning of the season until now, Randy Arozarena. Let's go, Randy. Another individual that's definitely due for a home run, but let's see if we can get a single, double, or an RBI here from Randy Arozarena. Chap in the building. What's good? Trident's up. First pitch to Randy, a little slow dribbler towards third. Ooh. That looked close to being fair. But that could have been, a big opportunity for the Mets to try to get a double play there, but ends up being foul. Slider 82 miles an hour. Yeah, there's only going to be certain guys that will be bunting. Not everyone is great at bunting on the team. And obviously we know nobody really in baseball, practices defense on bunts. And little slow dribbler up the middle, double play. And Randy at least hustling to first, but not in time. And a great job there by the Mets with their defense. And that stops our rally with runners at first and second. And we're going to be going now to the top of the fourth inning, still tied at 1. Let's go to the top of the fourth inning. Next up, 1-for-1, center fielder in the 7-hole, A.J. Ewing. Batting second in the 8-hole, left fielder 0-for-1 with a K, M.J. Melendez. And batting third in the 9-hole, 0-for-1, catcher Luis Torrens. Trident's up. Let's go M's. 4 subs away from 24,200. Let's see how close we are on the likes as we're approaching the top of the fourth inning. We got 266 in the room, and we got 95 likes. Can we get 5 individuals to hit that like button so we can get to above 100? We need 5 individuals to hit that like button out of the 262 in the room, and then we'll be at 100. And we are at 7 on the dono train, 93 to go. All right, Kirby, 3 innings pitch, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 4 Ks, 60 pitches, 41 strikes with a 3.62 ERA. Not the greatest, but at least he's only given up a run so far. That's much better than the 3 or 4 that he gave up in his previous 2 starts. And then Freddie Peralta, 3 innings pitch, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 Ks, 52 pitches, 28 strikes with a 3.52 ERA. Appreciate that, Michael. First pitch from Kirby to Ewing. It's a 4-seam fastball, painted corner beautifully, 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, painting the corner low and away with the knuckle curve. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby to Ewing. Again, pretty sweet to be able to see, female umps, getting in now in the MLB. We definitely have seen some female referees, obviously in the NBA and in the NFL, and definitely they are starting to expand, these job market opportunities, and it's great to see. 1-2 pitch, little slow dribbler up the middle. Emerson is there, throw to Naylor, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Great job there by Colt Emerson. Nice job, Colt. Down goes A.J. Ewing with a slow dribbler to Colt Emerson. Next up is M.J. Melendez. On deck is Luis Torrens. First pitch is low and at the knees with a 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss with the knuckle curve, low and at the knees, 83 miles an hour there by Kirby. 1 ball and 1 strike to M.J. Melendez. Top of the fourth inning, we're knotted up at 1. Kirby on the mound, Melendez in the box. One pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby to Melendez. So he's been warming up with the team, putting on the gear and catching pitches from the pitchers the last 2 to 3 days, but he's not ready yet. So they may put him on a rehab assignment, with the, Tacoma Rainiers, our AAA affiliate, at some point, during this road trip as we're going to Detroit starting Friday. But again, not really a definitive date just yet, but he is starting to get closer, to getting his rehab assignment started, which is good. And then obviously with Brandon Donovan, Miles Mastroboni, and Carlos Vargas, we haven't seen Mastroboni or Vargas all year yet. They are all due back. Donnie, Mastroboni, and Carlos Vargas around June 4th, June 5th, but those dates could change if they have a setback. So we're probably going to get those guys back before Cal, and depending on how Cal feels and depending on how good the team is doing, honestly, if we ended up just, keeping him, healthy and just kind of letting him ease back into the game, honestly, you could probably wait until the All-Star break to bring him back. I don't necessarily think that will be what we do, but depending on, how serious it is, All-Star break will be around, I believe, July 14th. And, we would hope that we would be able to have him for June and a little bit of July. But I mean, if we keep playing baseball like this, and we can end up having a healthy Cal for the rest of the year, if we end up extending his, rehab assignment, it just really depends on Cal and his body, but we'll kind of wait and see. First pitch to Luis Torrens is in there for a ball, low and away, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch in there for a strike. Sinker, 96 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Torrens. And a little dribbler up the middle that goes through the infield to Luke Raley. And now we got runners at first and second, which has kind of been a common theme lately here for Kirby. And hopefully the defense will be able to bail him out with a double play here. Next up is Carson Benj. First pitch is low and at the knees. Knuckle curve, 1-0 count. We have to be blessed that we have, 2 decent backup catchers in Garver and Pareda that have been holding down. And it's not like Cal was spectacular this season either. Obviously had a lot of struggles, before he got hurt, and finally ended up breaking that hitless streak, that was getting really up there, but we just need to have a healthy Cal Raleigh. And, they definitely overworked him last season with everything with the WBC, obviously, and the off season, and, having him participate in the home run derby and the All-Star game, and, pretty much catching almost every fucking game for us last year. Again, wear and tear on your body, especially crouching, on your knees for hours on end, can definitely take a toll. 1 ball and 1 strike from Kirby to Benj. 1-1 pitch, little blooper, fuck. And Kirby is just not it right now. And now we got bases loaded with 1 out. We definitely are going to need the bats to be able to come alive, and we need the defense to step up because Kirby has just not been good in his last 3 starts. I don't know if we really anticipated Kirby dropping off like this after him being one of the top 2 guys with Woo, but, this has been a rough part of the season here for George. Right now, Woo and Miller and Hancock are at the top. Kirby is on the bottom end with Gilbert and Castillo. I don't think I ever would have imagined that, but now we're going to have a mound visit, and we desperately need to hold the team to just 1, and hopefully we can end up getting a double play. And if we end up giving up a run, hopefully it's just 1, and we're only down 2-1, but still a chance to get a double play. Top of the 4th inning with bases loaded and 1 out. Next up is Bo Bichette. First pitch to Bichette is low and away. 1-0 count. Come on, George. And a little dribbler up the middle gets through past J.P. Crawford. How many runs is that going to score? And that scores 2. And just like that, we're down 3-1. Fucking A, George. I mean, it's one thing if it's Castillo doing this or even Logan Gilbert, but damn it, we can't have George Kirby going from being one of the top 3 guys in the rotation to now being in the bottom 3. I mean, thankfully, we got Bryce Miller, Emerson Hancock, and Brian Wu wheeling and dealing. And then Gilbert, obviously, I feel is doing obviously better. So right now, George Kirby is probably 5th, out of 6 pitchers. And the only one that he's better than or close to is Luis Castillo. Yikes. Bichette with a single to center. Melendez and Terren score. Benj to second. And now we have runners at first and second, and we're down by 2 runs with only 1 out. Come on, George. And Soto, throw to second, double play, and not in time. Runners now at first and third with 2 outs. And again, if the bats come alive, we'll be fine. We've been averaging about 5-6 runs a game, and we're only at 1 right now. So again, we just have to be able to, find an inning where we can end up starting a rally, with an RBI, or if we can start mashing, home runs. And again, usually when we hit 1, that leads to another, and sometimes even number 3 and number 4 before the game is over. Plenty of time still to come back and win this game and to sweep the Mets. Next up is Jared Young. First pitch to Young. Big swing and a miss with the sweeper, 87 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And it's not necessarily just the pressure, but also, baseball is mental. These guys know if they've been playing good or bad, in their last few starts. And, sometimes, even if your stuff is there, if you're not there mentally, that's definitely going to, kind of sway some of the, pitches and the outcomes of the game if you're not fully in it. Throw to first, and he is safe. Top of the 4th inning, runners on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. Mets up 3-1. And we haven't trailed too often in this 8-game win streak. But obviously something that we can definitely come back from. 0-1 pitch. And Pareda. And throw to JP and safe. And another runner comes home for the Mets. Yikes, 4-1, and this is exactly the same type of situation that George was in his last 2 starts. And Benj steals home, and we haven't seen anyone really steal home against us all year. Buck, 4-1, New York. Definitely beats the tag. So Benj stole home and Soto stole second. Kirby's 28. 28 years old, George Kirby. Yeah, and we normally have been very electric, with our defense not letting a lot of balls get into the outfield. But today, I mean, it's just been a hit party, and it's been that way for George in his last 2 starts previous to this one. So 3 bad games in a row. And again, George Kirby looking like Luis Castillo rather than looking like, Miller, Hancock, or Wu. And that is very concerning. George was our number 1 pitcher, earlier in the year. And now he's probably number 5 out of 6 guys. And this is going to happen. We're going to have guys that look good for, a few months. And then all of a sudden they're going to hit a wall. And, we know that George will end up getting better. And more than likely before the season is over, you would assume he'll be, one of the top 3 guys out of 6, but right now, not looking very good. Runner is safe. I don't really know why we're challenging that. One pitch, low and away with the changeup, 80 miles an hour, 2 balls and 1 strike from Kirby DeYoung. Come on, George. 2-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, sweeper, 87 miles an hour, 2 balls and 2 strikes from Kirby DeYoung. And you know Kirby's in his head. You know, he already knows that he shit the bed twice and now 3 times, and that makes me nervous for the next time around when George pitches. You know, against like how many bad games in a row are you going to have before you turn this ship around? 2-2 pitch popped up and out of play, and definitely puts a hell of a lot more pressure on the Mariner offense. Now we're down by 3 runs instead of having the game be tied. But, you know, when your starting pitcher gives up fucking 8 hits, you know, this is what's going to happen. Obviously, the defense hasn't been good. We had an error by Naylor, you know, so things definitely going against us here today. But, you know, we still got time to be able to hopefully get back in it before the game is up. And then that ball ends up hitting the bag and scores another run. Jesus Christ. We should have had Naylor take another day off. You know, fucking A, man. If we had Patrick Wisdom there, maybe, you know, the defense is a little bit better and maybe the offense as well. Fucking A, Josh. 5-1, New York. I mean, it's hard to win a game when your starting pitcher is Budios, your defense is Budios, and you only got 1 run so far. It's hard to win a game that way. And obviously, you're getting a little bit of, you know, luck as well. And obviously seeing things that we normally don't see, like someone stealing home or, you know, a hit hitting the fucking bag and then going the opposite direction. I mean, everything is going. That really wasn't Josh's fault there, that last play. Just hit first base, and what can you do? You know, everything going New York right now. 5-1 Mets, brutal. I was really hoping for our 9-game win streak here today. And again, we'll still have a chance, but, you know, for every run that they score, the chance of us coming back is dwindling. 5-1 Mets. 0-1 pitch. And there for a strike. No balls and 2 strikes from Kirby DeBeatty. Still plenty of time. 4 runs is, you know, usually about 4 or 5 runs is the maximum that we can come back from. If we get down by more than that, it's probably over, if we're being real, you know, unless, you know, they have a meltdown in the pen, you know, which is possible. I mean, we can score 1 to 4 runs in a single inning, you know, if they have a meltdown, but we just don't know if that meltdown will happen today or not. 0-2 pitch popped up and out of play. And also what's a little concerning, you know, that George has had 3 bad starts in a row, giving up 5 runs. When someone else comes in, how are they going to look? You know, are they going to be, you know, lights out to give us a chance? You know, or are they going to end up having a rough outing as well? We got Jose Ferrer warming up. Top of the 4th inning, 5-1 New York. Big 4-run inning here in the 4th. 5 runs, 9 hits, no errors for the Mets. And big swing and miss finally gets out of this terrible inning. And now we're down by 4 runs, and that definitely puts a lot of pressure on the Mariner offense. But again, we have been averaging about 6 runs a game, you know, in this 8-game win streak. Now we just need the home runs to follow, and we need to be able to get some RBIs and hopefully a little bit of luck, because everything has been going New York's way here today. All right, let's see if we got the right people in place to get it going here. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th inning, 0 for 1 with a K, right fielder Luke Raley. Batting second, 0 for 1 in the 6 hole, second baseman Cole Young. And batting third in the 7 hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. Kirby's had 89 pitches, so we won't see him back, thank God. He already fucked up this game for us, so hopefully Jose Ferrer will be pitching somewhat well, and we'll have hopefully others behind him that will help us try to win. Four subs away from 24,200. And we gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. Two subs to go to 24,200. And let's see how close we are on the likes here. We got 240 in the room. And we're at 112. $88 to $200. And we're at 7 on the dono train because of Alex and Angry. And 93 to go. All right, we're going to need a hell of a lot of help from the Mariner Moose. First pitch is high and away to Luke Raley. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike looking high and away with a four-seam fastball. 94 miles an hour there by Peralta. 1 ball and 1 strike from Peralta to Raley. And if they just would have taken out Peralta after the first or second inning like they did with their other 2 pitchers, maybe this game goes a little differently. Sliding attempt there by the Mets, by Beatty. Can't get to that ball time in foul territory. Thank goodness. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. We're in the bottom of the 4th, down by 4 runs. We were tied at 1, but again, offense hasn't done a whole lot besides J.P. Crawford. We got an error out of Naylor. Obviously a hit that hit the first base bag, and they had a guy steal home. Just a lot of crazy things happening here. But obviously George was terrible today, like he was in his last 2 starts. So 3 bad starts in a row is not ideal, and I don't really know what to expect for George and his, next start after this, but something's got to give. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, high and away. And down goes Luke Raley. And that is 1 up and 1 down. Next up for the Mariners in the 6 hole, Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. Got to start a rally. Freddie Peralta on the mound, Young in the box. Come on, Cole. And again, once we get like a home run or, an RBI and we can get it to 5-2 or 5-3, it'll make us feel a hell of a lot better than being down 4. But, we just got to hope that, Ferrer and everyone else that comes in after, hopefully we don't give up any more runs the rest of the game. And there we go. A base knock there by Cole Young. I had a good feeling about him here. And nice job there for Cole, starting a rally for us here with 1 out. Let's go. Next up is Dominic Canzone. On deck is Johnny Pareda. And both guys have been relatively good lately. And hopefully we can end up getting a home run here or an RBI so we can cut into this lead. Would be fantastic if we could end up, being only down a run or 2 after this inning. First pitch is high and away to Dominic Canzone. Four-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And again, we have been able to come back down by 4 or 5 runs multiple times this season. So the game isn't over yet. But again, we definitely have to kick it into high gear, ASAP. 1-0 pitch, changeup missing. Again, 2 balls and no strikes to Dominic Canzone. Come on, Dom. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Time is called. (2-0 pitch. Low and away, but getting the corner. 2 balls and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. Come on, Mariner Moose. We need you, baby. We need that good luck, that Soto mojo. 2-1 pitch from Peralta. Low and at the knees. 3 balls and 1 strike from Peralta to Canzone. And it probably should be ball 4, because the pitch that they called strike was like 3 inches off the plate, but no challenge by Dom. 3-1 pitch from Peralta. Hard hit ball by Dom. Line drive. Yes. And there we go. Back-to-back hits by Young and Canzone. I love it. Here we go. We got our own little rally started. Young now at second with a beautiful single to start it off, and Canzone with a single. Now we have runners at first and second for Johnny Pareda. And if Johnny can hit another 3-run blast, we'll be at 5-4 with 1 out. Let's go, Johnny. On deck is Colt Emerson, and we like the way that Colt has been playing as well lately. Let's go. See if we can get this from 5-1 to 5-2 to 5-3 to 5-4 in a heartbeat. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. First pitch to Pareda. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. Come on, Johnny. Come on, Johnny. 0-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there from Pareda again. No balls and 2 strikes from Peralta to Pareda. Come on, Johnny. Be patient. I mean, even getting a single would be great. Just something to keep the game going here in this inning. 0-2 pitch from Peralta. Low and at the knees. Good eye there by not wildly swinging and, striking out on 3 swings on 3 pitches. 1 ball, strikes from Peralta to Pareda. Come on, Johnny. And Peralta steps off. Bottom of the 4th inning, runners at first and second with 1 out. Young at second, Canzone at first. We're down by 4 runs. George Kirby put us into this hole. 1-2 pitch, popped up into right field, out of play. And again, we just got to be able to be positive and dig ourselves out. Just try to be able to slowly but surely, chip away. And the Mariners are very good at chipping away when we get down. 1-2 pitch. Low and away. Good eye there by Pareda. Slider, 83 miles an hour outside of the zone. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Peralta to Pareda. I mean, I got a few other hats, but I think this one, I got it on the 4th of July 2 years ago, when we played the Orioles. And I think it looks the best out of all the hats that I have. I mean, I got a standard kind of navy blue hat. But again, if I'm going to be wearing different jerseys, gray, City Connect blue, white, you got to be able to find a hat that kind of goes with everything. And, as we know, white kind of goes with everything. So that's usually why I decide to wear this particular hat, even though I have, 2 or 3 others. But I can't wear those hats with every jersey or every shirt that I have because you don't want to mismatch. So, you got to be styling and profiling. What are they saying? That Pareda called timeout twice? What's going on here? Is Dan Wilson going to get ejected? That might be something that could help us win this game, but are they trying to say Johnny called time twice and so now he's out? Wow. I don't think I've seen that ever. Was going to be a 3-2 count, but now after that particular, this game is just wild. We're seeing things that we've never seen that often, a baseball hitting first base and flying in the opposite direction, and someone stealing home on us that hasn't happened to us all year. And then now 2 timeouts supposedly by Pareda, and then they end up calling him out. Brutal. 2 away. All right, Colt. You know, and it's adversity. It's life, right? You know, sometimes things go sideways, and it's all about how you react. You know, and a lot of times people react negatively, and things continue to get worse and worse, right? But you got to try to be as positive as possible, you know, when things are going bad. Oh, 1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Peralta on the mound, Colt Emerson in the box. Yeah, I went to the game on the 4th of July last year also, and I got that hat. But again, I can't wear that particular hat, you know, every day. So, but you know, I've been going to the 4th of July, you know, with my best friend the last few years, and we're going again this year as well. So, 0-2 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Peralta to Emerson. One-two pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is out number 3. And then obviously this season they're doing the bucket hat on the 4th of July. So, but I got that same hat from last year as well. All right, we weren't able to take advantage in that particular inning, which is a damn shame. But again, a lot of crazy things are kind of happening in this game against us. But we just got to be able to hang tough the best that we can, and hopefully we can chip away and get to 2 or 3 runs within the next couple innings. Let's see who's up next here for the New York Mets. Next up for the Mets, 0 for 2 with a K. In the 6th hole, second baseman Marcus Semien. Batting second, 1 for 2, center fielder in the 7th hole, A.J. Ewing. And batting third, 0 for 1 with a run, base on ball, and a K, left fielder M.J. Melendez. End of the 4th inning, 5-1 New York. We are 2 subs away from 24,200. We're approaching 6 million views. We'll get that in a couple days, and it looks like we just hit that number. We gained 3 more subs. Thank you so much. And now we have 99 subs to go to 24,300. So shout out to all the individuals that have subbed to the channel here today, as well as the ones that have subbed all the way from the beginning of the year. Shout out to our female audience, as well as everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. And we're at 131 likes. $69 to $200. And we're at 7 on the Dono train, 93 to go. Carly in the building, what's good? All right, Edward Bizardo is coming in instead of Ferrer. And first pitch from Bizardo, line drive to Julio, and thankfully the defense was on point, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Nice job there by Julio Rodriguez. Edward Bizardo now coming in for George Kirby, leaving us a 5-1 mess, and hopefully the offense will be able to step up and make up for George's mistakes, and hopefully the pitching and the defense the rest of the way will be good. It's been a little shaky so far. Next up is A.J. Ewing. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. First pitch from Bizardo to Ewing takes a strike looking low and away with a sweeper, 81 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Bizardo to Ewing. One pitch, and Bizardo gives up a base knock, a dribbler to Randy in left field. It's just been a hit party here for the Mets. You know, they didn't really get too much in the first 2 games, but they're just unloading on the Mariners here today. And obviously, you know, we've been in this situation as well where we've lost the first 2 games and we're super desperate to not get swept. And then finally you get a good performance, you know, and that's what you're getting out of the Mets here. Next up is MJ Melendez. First pitch is fouled off there by Melendez. Sinker at 93 miles an hour, low and away. 0-1 count. Let's go, baby. Oh, 1 pitch and another hit into right field. Make it stop. Fuck. And they're waving him home. Throw home. Throw home. Not in time. 6-1 New York. This is going to be really hard to come back now. I mean, like I said, usually about 4 runs, you know, is about the max. And now we're down 5. And again, we got the home run from J.P. Crawford, but no one else has been able to add on and help us out, at least just yet. Oh, man, you know, and again, sometimes when it rains, it pours. You know, things were going so well in that 8-game win streak. And then now, you know, just, you know, everything is just out of reach, just like Josh Naylor there jumping to try to get that ball and going right above his glove about a half inch. And Bizzardo now struggling just like Kirby did. 6-1 New York. But this is the maximum amount of runs that we've come back from and still won the game. 5. You know, so, but again, a lot of times when you get down by 4 or 5 runs, it's over. But, you know, with the Mariner bats, you know, averaging about 5-6 runs a game, you know, there still is a little bit of hope if they can have a meltdown from their pen. But it's going to take a little bit of a miracle here for us to come back. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and inside. No balls and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Terrence. 0-2 pitch. High and away, not getting the strike 3 call. Now Bizzardo is challenging. I'm not sure if I want Bizzardo fucking challenging pitches, but I think he'll win this. And he does. There we go. Yeah, we haven't seen that before, but he at least got it right. And that is strike 3, and that is 2 away. Good job, Bizzardo. Next up is leadoff hitter, right fielder Carson Bench. First pitch, low and at the knees. 1-0 count. One-0 pitch from Bizzardo in there for a strike to Carson Bench, right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike with a runner at third and 2 outs. Bottom of the top of the 5th, 6-1 New York. One pitch, and he goes around with the check swing. Sweeper, 83 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Bizzardo to Bench. And if we're not going to be able to fully come back, I'm hoping that we can still get to 4 to 5 runs, you know, and give us a little momentum, you know, as we, you know, have the day off tomorrow and we go on the road to face the Tigers, who have not been a good team this year, had the worst record in MLB in May. And Bizzardo was strike 3 right down the middle looking. And again, gave up a run, but we'll see what happens here with the offense. And we desperately need a rally. You know, we need to try to cut into this lead as soon as possible. And if we can be down by 1 or 2 runs by the 8th or the 9th, then it'll give us a chance. So we just have to try to chip away and get to, you know, 6-4 as soon as possible. But again, the way that we've been pitching, who knows? The Mets could end up getting to fucking 10 runs before this game is over if the pitching continues to struggle. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 5th and let's start a rally. Got to try to get to 2 or 3 sooner than later. Next up, 2 for 2 with a run and an RBI, a home run and a double. J.P. Crawford, he has done well, but who else is going to step up? Batting second, 0 for 1 with a base on ball and a K, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. We could really use a JP single and a Julio home run to get it to 6-3. Let's go. And batting third, 0 for 2, first baseman, it's Nails, Josh Naylor. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. 98 subs to go now to 24,300. We're at 7 on the Dono train, 93 to go. And let's see where we're at on the likes with 235 in the room. All right, we're at 133. 67 to 200. Six runs, 11 hits, no errors. We haven't really had anyone play like this against us in our 8-game win streak. But, you know, again, everything going against us in this game, and we definitely have seen some weird things that would never have happened to us all season. You know, a runner stealing, you know, home hasn't happened all year. You know, a ball hitting first base awkwardly and, you know, going in a different direction. I believe that really hasn't happened. And if it has, it's only one other time, you know, throughout these first 60-plus games. And then obviously having an out for a batter, calling timeout twice in Pareda and having to go to the dugout. I mean, there's a lot of weird, crazy things that have happened in this game, on top of just bad pitching and not really the greatest defense either. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees with the changeup, 87 miles an hour, 2 balls and 1 strike from Peralta to Crawford. Also, the Mets not changing their pitcher after the first inning or two, you know, obviously has helped their chances of winning this game with Peralta instead of having him go out like they did in the first 2 games where they had their pitcher go out in the first or the second inning. So I don't know what changed, maybe the losses, and they said, well, let's just fuck it. Let's just go with Peralta and see what he can do. And obviously it worked for them here today. Pitches high and inside, 3 balls and 1 strike to JP Crawford. 3-1 pitch, big swing and a miss there by JP, high and inside. Count now is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes from Peralta to Crawford. Agree, Bob. We need to get fucking Peralta out of this game and then hope that they can have a meltdown with their pen, which is very possible. Where's he at on pitches? He's only at 80. So he's getting up there, but we may have to see him for one more inning, unfortunately. 3-2 pitch, little dribbler down third base. Run, JP! Run, JP! Yes! There we go. And that's the hustle that I'm talking about. Great job there by JP Crawford, hustling to first base. Beatty just couldn't get that throw in time. Nice job, JP. 3 for 3 today. Who is going to join JP Crawford in trying to have this comeback in this rally? Great job, JP, but we need others to step up. Next up is Julio Rodriguez, and if there was ever a moment that we needed a 2-run bomb by Julio, it's fucking right now. And if we get the game to be 6-3, we're right back in it. It just looks terrible when you're down 5, but if you can cut into the lead, you know, we could definitely come back. And Julio with a dribbler up the middle, dropped, slide in, and they barely get the fielder's choice after the bobble there by Marcus Semien. I guess it could have been worse. It could have been a double play, but that would have been awesome if they could have had an error there. But not our luck. JP is out with the fielder's choice. Julio safe at first. Next up is Josh Naylor, another individual that we could really use a 2-run bomb right here. He had one that hit, obviously, the top of the padding that bounced back into the field, but missed a home run a few games ago by about 6 inches. We could really use a big play here from Naylor. First pitch is high and inside towards the head. 1-0 count. Come on, Josh. I mean, you already had the throwing error to give them the 1-0 lead. You need to make up for that. Come on, Josh. 1-0 pitch. Check swing. Pitch is high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Peralta to Naylor. But we just need to be down by a run or 2 by the 8th or the 9th. So obviously that means we need to score, you know, a few runs, you know, to get to that point. One swing by Naylor gets us right back in the game. 2-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Peralta to Naylor. Come on, Josh. JP having an exceptional day, but we need others to step up. 2-1 pitch from Peralta. And a little dribbler here by Naylor. Looks like it'll be a double play. Throw to first. And that is the end of the Mariners. Unfortunately, everything going for the Mets. You know, they're getting pitching, they're getting hitting, you know, they're getting crazy plays going their way, and they're getting double plays on top of it too. Brutal. End of the 5th inning, 6-1 New York. We're running out of time. Let's go to the top of the 6th and see who's up next here for New York. Next up for the Mets, 3 for 3 with a run and 2 RBIs, having a great game like J.P. Crawford, Bo Bichette. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run, DHing today, Juan Soto. And batting third, 2 for 3 with an RBI, first baseman Jaron Young. Trident's up, let's go M's. Got to have that blind faith and just hope that they have a meltdown with their pitching staff after Peralta exits. 98 subs to go to 24,300. All right, we're at 140 likes, 60 to go to 200. And we're at 7 on the dono train, 93 to go. And Jose Ferrer is coming in for Bizzardo. All right, Jose. Hopefully he'll pitch well and not give up any runs like Kirby and Bizzardo did. We need that Soto mojo. Everything going New York's way. But again, that's how baseball goes, right? I mean, in our 8-game win streak, you know, everything was going our way, and obviously everything is, you know, going the Mets' way today. But based on, you know, what Naylor has shown, maybe he should have taken another day off and we should have had Wisdom at first base. Not to say that Wisdom would have hit a home run today, probably wouldn't have, but maybe the defense at first would have been a little bit better than what we've seen out of Naylor today, which hasn't been good. I mean, it's one thing to not be able to hit, but then also to be a liability at first base. That's not ideal. And he had back spasms, so, you know, obviously he felt good enough to play today, but his play on the field has not been good. Next up is Bo Bichette. 3 for 3 days so far. First pitch is low and at the knees there by Jose Ferrer. 1-0 count. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're hoping for. Once Peralta exits, you know, if we can get 1 or 2 pitchers to have a meltdown where we can score 1 or 2 runs on each guy, then we might be able to be in a position where we're down by a run or 2 in the 8th or the 9th, and maybe a miracle potentially could happen, and we could end up winning, you know, like 7-6 in extras. But for that to happen, a lot of shit would have to go our way, and right now it's looking pretty slim pickings at the moment. But not impossible. We've done it before. And we can do it again. 2-1 pitch, or 2-0 pitch is a strike right down the middle, sinker 96 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. But that's also assuming that they don't score anymore, you know, and they may score some more. And Jose Ferrer with the pop-up just couldn't end up making that play to first. And Bichette with a 4-hit day, one of the best games in his career here with the New York Mets. Oh man, everything just going New York today. Great job there by Bo Bichette. Next up is Juan Soto. And we definitely can't give up a Juan Soto 2-run blast, because if it goes to 8-1, then it's over for sure. We won't come back from 7-run deficit, more than likely, but hopefully Juan will not homer here and hit right up the middle. Give me the double play. Give it to me. Throw to first. There we go. Nice double play. We finally get one. I mean, it took forever, the 6th inning, to get it. But great job there by J.P. Crawford, bailing out Jose Ferrer. And we finally get a double play to go in our favor, and that is 2 away. Next up in the 4-hole, first baseman Jared Young. Great defense there. And again, you kind of were thinking that, based on how Kirby was pitching, we would probably need a few while he was on the mound, and we didn't get any. But better late than never, to be positive. First pitch takes a strike, looking high and inside. 0-1 count. Come on, Mariners. Got to dig deep. 0-1 pitch. Nice pitch there, low and away, painting the corner beautifully there by Jose Ferrer. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning, 6-1 New York. And if we can end up getting this last out by Ferrer, I wouldn't mind him coming back out in the 7th inning. Obviously we'll be limited on who we can bring out here in these last few. Unless they decide to bring out like Gabe Spire, which is possible. 0-2 pitch. Low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Young. 1-2 pitch from Ferrer. Almost hits Young high and inside. Has to jump out of the way. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Young. Come on, Mariners. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Two pitch. Popped up and out of play. But if we're going to be positive, we've won 3 series in a row, 2 sweeps on the Athletics and the Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks were 10-1 coming into that series, and we beat them down. And we already won this series, but let's be honest, we were really hungry for the sweep today. We wanted 3 sweeps in a row, and we were just hoping that George would pitch well, and he didn't. And the bats have not been good besides J.P. Crawford overall. I mean, we do have 6 hits total, so it's not like we're not losing 6-0 with no hits, so it could be worse, but, it definitely has not gone our way today. 2-2 pitch from Ferrer to Young. Pitch is low and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes from Ferrer to Young. Come on, Jose. We got Brett Beatty on deck. 3-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking. Nice job, Jose. Finally a pitcher on the Mariners staff that doesn't give up a run. And obviously he needed help to get that double play. But, again, great job there by Jose. Obviously Bizzardo gave up a run. And we obviously know what happened with George Kirby giving up 5. Not good. Or 4 earned runs by Kirby, and then obviously the one there by Bizzardo, and then 1 by Naylor. All right, let's go to the bottom of the 6th, and now we really have to rally. We have to try to get at least 1 this inning, but, preferably 2 would be great, but, beggars can't be choosers, I guess, right? All right, let's go, Mariners. Next up, 0 for 1 with a base on ball. We need a rally started here. We need home runs and RBIs. Left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Right fielder, Luke Raley. We could really use a nuke from Luke. And batting third, 1 for 2, second baseman, Cole Clutch Young. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. "22 days left to vote for our Mariner players in the All-Star game. 98 subs to go to 24,300. 7 on the Dono train, 93 to go. Let's see how close we are to 200 likes with 204 in the room. We are at 143. Good start. $57 to 200. And can we get Peralta out of the game already? Fuck. 86 pitches, so he's close. So I assume that he'll pitch 1 more inning or at least a batter or 2, and then they'll pull him and whatnot. So he's at 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 5 Ks, 86 pitches, with 47 strikes with a 3.42 ERA. So this will definitely be the last inning, but hopefully we can rough him up before he leaves. Would absolutely love some home runs here from Randy, Luke, and hopefully Cole can get on base as well. 1-0 pitch, high and away. 2 balls and no strikes from Peralta to Arosarena. Would love for Randy to get walked and Rayleigh to hit a 2-run jam and for us to get to 6-3, and then we're right back in the game. Unless Randy can hit a home run himself here. 2-0 pitch from Peralta. Takes a strike right down the middle, even though Terrence drops the ball. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, 6-1 New York. Come on, Mariners. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Got to stay positive. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Change up 88 miles an hour right down the middle. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, 6-1 New York. Peralta on the mound, but will be exiting shortly. Pitch count is getting up there. This should be his last inning. 2-2 pitch. And Randy with a hard hit laser towards third and foul. Change up 87 miles an hour there by Freddie Peralta. And I just wish the Mets would have taken him out after the 1st and 2nd inning like they did in the first 2 games. And maybe we're only down a couple runs, rather than 5 at this time. 2-2 pitch, and that is strike 3 looking. Down goes Randy, and that is 1 away. Next up is Luke Rayleigh. Come on, Luke. We need a nuke from Luke. I mean, hell, even at this point, getting to 2, it would be fantastic. Come on, Seattle. 1 hit at a time, 1 run at a time. Come on. First pitch to Rayleigh. Big swing and a miss. Low and away. 0-1 count. Oh, 0-1 pitch. Low and away. And pitch is being challenged by Terrence. And they lose the challenge. 1 ball and 1 strike to Luke Rayleigh. Come on, Luke. We need a nuke from Luke. Come on, Rayleigh. 1-1 pitch from Peralta. High and inside. 4-seam fastball missing there by Freddie. 2 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning, 6-1 New York. Two-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Peralta to Rayleigh. Yeah, I agree with that, Kevin, because, again, you just don't really know how long the starting pitchers are going to go, and you don't know who's coming into the game beforehand. When you watch basketball, you know who the starting 5 is and who the bench guys are and normally the amount of minutes they typically get. And with football, you usually have an understanding on, who's going to be playing. Now, you can't predict injuries in sports, and obviously that is something that can really derail you in betting and obviously in fantasy football, if a guy goes down with an injury. 3-2 pitch, hard hit ball, and a line drive right to first base to Young, and we just can't catch a break, and that is 2 away. Having a hard time getting some baseballs to get past the infield here today. And that is 2 up and 2 down. But a lot of unknowns in baseball, which it makes it definitely tough to predict. Next up is Cole Clutch Young. Let's see if we can get a rally started with 2 outs. Come on, Cole. And if there's a player that can start a rally with 2 outs, Young is definitely one of those guys that could do it. Colt Emerson is another. First pitch takes a strike looking with a 4-seam fastball, 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Cole. Oh, 1 pitch takes another strike right down the middle. Beautiful slider there by Freddie Peralta, fooling Cole. 82 miles an hour right down the pipe. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th, 6-1 New York. And I absolutely do not want us to lose 6-1, 8-1, 10-1. We have to get more than 1. Little dribbler up the middle. Throw to first. And just in time. And that is 3 up and 3 down. And now we're going to have a 3-inning sprint. Peralta will not be back, so we can obviously count our blessings for that, even though he torched us today. And again, we just have to hope for the biggest fucking meltdown possible by multiple pitchers in the Mets bullpen, and then maybe we'll catch up. But then that's also hoping that we don't add on more runs to the Mets total. All right, let's see who's up next here for New York as we go to the top of the 7th inning. Obviously, things not going our way today. Next up in the 5-hole, third baseman 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, Brett Beatty. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, second baseman, the former Ranger, Marcus Semien. And batting third, 2 for 3 with a run, center fielder, A.J. Ewing. No relation to Patrick. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And let's look at Peralta's final line. So 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 Ks, 101 pitches, 57 strikes with a 3.38 ERA. So they've got 1 pitcher, and they have a 5-run lead. And fuck, we've already gone through Kirby, Bizzardo, Ferrer, and now Cooper Criswell's coming in. And we just got to hope that Cooper Criswell doesn't shit the bed. Come on, Mariner Moose. Where are you? We need your help. Wake up. All right, Criswell coming in here into the 7th. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. $98 subs to go to 24,300. 7 on the dono train, 93 to go. And we're at 149 likes. 51 to 200. Let's go. Let's see if we can get to at least 175 on the likes before the game ends. Power Code in the building. What's good? It's always an honor and a privilege to be able to be the guy that represents the Seattle Mariners on YouTube, as well as the MLB. And again, obviously an 8-game win streak. We were on cloud 9. Obviously Kirby with his 3rd bad start in a row, which is not ideal. And again, now we just have to hope that, the bats can come alive. I mean, it's, the hitting hasn't been great besides JP Crawford. The pitching has been terrible. The defense has been terrible. And then the bullpen hasn't really been that great either. But again, something's got to give, and hopefully we can get a meltdown or 2 from the pen, and somehow, some way we can find a way to come back and win 7-6. Remember, we've had crazy games where, we were down 7-0 with Woo against the Cardinals and came back and won 11-9. I'm not saying that that's going to happen here today, but, we definitely have been able to come back. Normally 4 or 5 runs is our max, but we have come back, down 7 runs before. We're down 5, so got to get it going. 0-2 pitch from Criswell, and that is strike 3 looking. Good start here for Cooper Criswell. There we go. Arcelis there with a 5er. Thank you so much. $5 holla. Choo-choo on the dono train. Appreciate you. We're at 12 now. 88 to go, and every dollar counts. I had to take my pup to the vet 3 times in roughly a month, and that cost was close to $800, which is a lot for me. So every dollar can help out with that. Little flip from Naylor to Cooper Criswell. Toe tap on the bag, and down he goes. And that is 2 up and 2 down. Good start here for Cooper Criswell. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Down goes Marcus Semien, the former Ranger. And we got the day off tomorrow, and then we go on the road to face the Tigers starting Friday, and they had the worst record out of any team in May. Detroit, no Skubal, and they're just definitely sliding in the wrong direction. And hopefully we don't play down to them, because a lot of times when we play down to the competition, like the Angels and the Royals, sometimes we get our ass kicked. Where they uppercut us early and we don't recover, and we either get swept or we only win a game. But winning, obviously 8 out of 9 if we don't come back here today. I feel pretty good of our chances on the road in Detroit. We just got to hope that there's no rain. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Criswell to Ewing. One pitch, a little slow dribbler. JP is there. Sidearm throw. And Naylor drops it. I mean, that was a tough play to make, but, Naylor looks terrible today. Just just been out of position, making an error, throwing high. And then obviously this is a tough play for JP, throwing on the run. But for Naylor not to be able to, clamp that in the glove, it's just, if Naylor is like this, he should have sat out for another game. We can't have Naylor be a liability offense and defense. My God. I mean, at least with Wisdom, you might get similar results with, not really a whole lot of hitting, but at least you have more faith, at least on hopefully the defense could be better. And again, when you have back spasms, it's usually, something that, requires more than one game off. But Pareda, throw to second, and safe. Nothing going the Mariners' way today. Can't even throw out a runner trying to steal second, unfortunately. 2 balls and no strikes to MJ Melendez as AJ Ewing is safe. Great jump from first to second. And we got to be able, to call a spade a spade. We're going to be all about our guys. We're going to be as positive as possible, but we can't let shit slide when, players are playing bad. We're going to, make sure that we acknowledge when guys are doing great, but we also need to acknowledge when guys are doing shitty. And, just unfortunate that, normally Naylor is lights out, on defense. But obviously I assume the back spasms, have something to do with it. Even though he may not be experiencing back spasms right now, but his play today not good. Takes a strike, looking high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Cooper Criswell to MJ Melendez. Two pitch popped up. Shallows left field. Randy Arozarena is there, and that is out number 3. All right, Mariners, we got a 3-inning sprint to get 5 runs. So we got to try to get 1 run here in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, and then try to get 2 in the 9th. If we can break it down that way, unless we can have a monster inning right away with someone having a meltdown where we can score 1 to 4 runs in one single inning. And then if we're only down a run by the 8th or the 9th, we'll really have a good chance on coming back. But it's going to take a great performance and a meltdown by the Mets. And I'm curious to see who they bring in here after Peralta. All right, let's see who we have up for the Mariners. All right, next up for the Mariners, 1 for 2 in the 7-hole, DHing Dominic Canzone. Batting second, 1 for 2 with a K, catcher Johnny Pareda. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman Colt Emerson. Now, if they bring in a lefty, then Canzone will be out, and then they'll bring in, fucking Ref Snyder or Robles, I would assume, but we'll see what happens. But based on how we played up to this point, maybe a Ref Snyder or Robles coming in, could help. And Rayleigh is coming in. All right, Brooks Rayleigh coming in, and it is a lefty. So this will be interesting if Dom still gets a chance to at bat or if they end up making the swap. You definitely have seen Dan Wilson leave Luke Rayleigh and Dominic Canzone in lately instead of replacing them for like Garver or Ref Snyder or Robles. Normally at the, good chunk of the season, as soon as they switch from a righty to a lefty, and if we had Rayleigh or Canzone do up, they made the change. Obviously it didn't work, more times than not, but let's just hope that we can get a meltdown here from Brooks Rayleigh. I mean, we just need one good inning and we can get right back into this game. All right, Brooks Rayleigh comes in and hopefully we'll be able to do some damage here. And they are swapping Canzone for Ref Snyder. I knew it. First pitch to Rob Ref Snyder. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. I think I would rather have Victor Robles hit than Ref Snyder. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to Rob Ref Snyder. And if Rob can get a walk, hit by a pitch and not get hurt, or get a single, that would be fantastic. Obviously, best case scenario for Rob hitting a solo jack and getting the party started for us would be amazing, but that's a lot to ask for the worst hitter on the team, Rob Refsnyder. 1-1 pitch, another ball there by Brooks Raley. 2-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss there with the cutter right down the middle, 87 miles an hour. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Brooks Raley to Rob Refsnyder. Come on, Rob. 2-2 pitch, high and away. Count now is full. Take the walk, Rob. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. Take the walk, Rob. Come on now. Jack in the building. How are you? 3-2 pitch. And fouls that one off the catcher. Hopefully he's okay. Terens. And we've definitely seen a lot of batters foul it off themselves and get hurt, as well as foul tip going into the catcher's mask, arms, legs, growing area, and also deflections hitting the ump. And it's kind of scary, especially if you end up getting hit with a deflection in a spot where there's no padding. And again, we definitely have seen a few guys get banged up in this series. 3-2 pitch, and Refsnyder pops it up. Should be a routine play here in shallow right field. And that is 1 up and 1 down. Yeah, it's about high 60s, low 70s today, so about 20 degrees cooler than the 90-degree heat wave that I had yesterday. I was miserable yesterday, but getting that Mariner win definitely made up for it. I usually like the temperatures between like 50 and 70. That's usually perfect for me, with a little bit of a breeze. Next up is Johnny Pareda. First pitch is high and away to Pareda. 1-0 count. Come on, Johnny. Single, double, triple, home run, hit by pitch, a walk, anything to get a rally going here. Got to try to score at least a minimum of a run here. 1-0 pitch. Wild pitch getting away from Terens that goes all the way to the backstop. 2 balls and no strikes from Raley to Pareda. No, Peralta's done. He's already had 101 pitches, and they already have Brooks Raley in, so no chance for Peralta coming back out. 2-0 pitch, high and inside. I mean, you're kind of getting the makes of a little bit of a mini meltdown. 3-0 count, but we got to take advantage of these counts. Come on, Pareda. AR in the building. What's good, brother? Come on, Johnny. Bottom of the 7th inning, Mariners down by 5. We just need to cut into the lead. 3-0 pitch. There we go. And I'll take that. A 4-pitch walk to Johnny Pareda. Wish we could have gotten that out of Rob Refsnyder, and they should have probably had Victor Robles hit instead of Rob, but, they're trying to give Rob some playing time. But we got tomorrow off, a 3-game set on the road against the Tigers, a 4-game set against the Orioles, and then a 3-game set against the Nationals. And then obviously after that, the Orioles again, and then the Red Sox. So there's definitely a lot of winnable games here in June. There's no doubt about it. Next up is Colt Emerson. First pitch into Colt is in there for a strike. 0-1 count. Come on, Colt. 0-1 pitch popped up. And that is 2 up and 2 down in foul territory. Beatty is there. Down goes Emerson. And next up is JP Crawford. Let's see if JP can go 4 for 4, just like Bo Bichette. Come on, JP. He's 1 hit away from the cycle. First pitch into JP Crawford, right down the middle for a strike looking. 0-1 count. 10 home runs and 23 ribbies. Third on the team in homers. Obviously, Luke Raley, Julio Rodriguez, and JP Crawford leading the Mariners. 0-1 pitch, another strike for JP Crawford. Cutter 86 miles an hour, low and away. 15 career triples, 2 at T-Mobile, and that's what JP needs to hit the cycle. And obviously, if he were able to get the triple, we would be down 6-2, not 6-1. And that is strike 3 on the corner. Wow. Brutal. And that is out number 3. Looked like it was off the plate, but no challenge there. And it's the end of the 7th inning. I don't even think we have any more challenges. I think we lost our challenges. So, all right, we're going to go to the top of the 8th. And now things are looking a little bit more bleak, because again, now you need 5 runs out of 2 innings. And the chance of that happening is not 0%, but it's pretty fucking low if we're being honest. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Mets. And I'm hoping that we can at least get a couple more runs for pride. I don't want to fucking lose 6-1, 8-1, or 10-1. Let's at least try to get to fucking 3 before the game's over. Next up, 1 for 3 with a run and a K, catcher Luis Torrens. Batting second, 1 for 4 with a run and 2 Ks, right fielder Carson Benj. And batting 4 for 4 in his best game in a Met uniform so far, Bo Bichette. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Come on, Mariners. Play with some pride. And now Alex Hoppe is coming in. 98 subs to go to 24,300. We're at 12 on the Dono train. 88 to go. And we're at 154 likes. $46 to $200. Cal has been warming up with the team for the last couple days, but we'll be starting a rehab stint in, I believe, AAA for the Tacoma Rainiers pretty soon. But again, no timetable yet for him. I don't know if they're going to let him sit all the way until the All-Star break or if he'll come back, right at the end of June, beginning of July. But they haven't really said yet when he's due back. And then obviously for Carlos Vargas, Miles Mastroboni, and Brendan Donovan, it's sounding like around June 4th, June 5th for those 3 players, unless they have a setback. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Mets up by 5. And Alex Hoppe coming in. First pitch from Hoppe to Luis Torrens, low and away with a sinker, 98 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. And down the line in right field is fair, and Torrens is going for 2. And Rayleigh bobbling that ball. I mean, everything just going the Mets' way today. And Luis Torrens with a big double to start off here at the top of the 8th. Come on, Hoppe. Torrens with a stand-up double. Next up is Carson Benj. Next up after that on deck, Bo Bichette. First pitch is high and inside, 4-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Definitely sad to potentially see this win streak end, but 8 games in a row. That was number 1 in MLB. We're above 500. 4 games up. Obviously, it'll be only 3 after this, but still, we definitely have come a long way. After being the worst hitting team in baseball and to be one of the better hitting teams in baseball in a span of a month and a half. And again, we're definitely still in a great position, to catch up to the Yankees and the Rays that are only a few games ahead of us. So 1-1 pitch, takes a strike, looking low and at the knees, 4-seam fastball, 99 miles an hour there by Alex Hoppe. 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at second and no outs. Top of the 8th inning, 6-1 New York. Little dribbler up the middle. Throw to first. And that is 1 away. Yeah, I could definitely see Spurs in 5 or 6. You know, it really depends on how the games are going to be reffed. You know, because obviously the more games that are played in the finals, the more money. So it wouldn't shock me if they, you know, lean on New York for a game or two to try to make it go 6 games. I don't think it'll go 7. You know, the only way that it would go 7 games if Wemby got hurt. You know, and I don't assume that will happen. So, and Bichette pops it up, and Randy is there, and that is 2 up and 2 down. Runner tags up and scores. 7-1 New York. Yeah, 3 series wins in a row. We just, you know, we wanted 3 sweeps in a row, which is very hard to do in baseball. Hell, it's hard enough in baseball to get 1 sweep, let alone 2 back to back. And to try to get 3, you know, just unfortunate George Kirby had to pitch like Luis Castillo today, and, you know, not ideal. And the bats did not come alive for the very first time in 9 games. JP Crawford was great today, but other than JP, you know, we got 6 hits total, and the defense was bad today as well. Soto pops up. Julio is there, and that is 3 up and 3 down. All right, we need a fucking miracle. All right, we're down 6 runs, so now we need 3 runs in the 8th and 3 runs in the 9th, and then we also have to hope that we don't give up anymore. But again, it definitely is going to be tough. I mean, hell, at this point, if we're going to lose, let's try to at least get a run in each inning and get to at least 3, you know, for pride. You know, get a couple home runs to add some stats to our guys. Next up, 0 for 2 with a walk and a K, Julio Rodriguez. Get a home run, Julio. Make us feel good, you know, at least here late in the game about something. And then batting second, 0 for 3, first baseman Josh Naylor, who's looked terrible on offense and defense today. Maybe should have, you know, stayed out for another game and let Wisdom play. But even with that being said, we still would have lost more than likely. And batting third, 0 for 2 with a base on ball and a K, left fielder Randy Arozarena. All right, Mariners, got to dig deep here. All right, Weaver is coming in for the Mets. All right, Luke Weaver coming in. Weaver on the mound, Julio Rodriguez in the box. $157 likes, 43 to 200. Yeah, Harper also obviously benefiting that his dad is Ron Harper, so it gave him all the secrets on how to be able to be a great, you know, NBA player with diet and workout regimen and taking advice from someone that won championships with Michael Jordan, you know, and Scottie Pippen. So, you know, they definitely have the, you know, deepest team and even a deeper team than the Thunder, you know, and obviously found a way to get the job done. And, you know, I feel like they're the hungriest team. It means something to them, just like it meant more to the Thunder last year, you know. And if you get a hungry, motivated team with a dominant player like Wemby, you know, as long as he doesn't get hurt, you know, they should end up winning in 5 or 6 games. 0-1 pitch to Julio and fouls that one off with the changeup, 88 miles an hour, low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the 8th inning, 7-1 New York. (0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and no home run for Julio, unfortunately, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Next up is Josh Naylor. First pitch to Josh Naylor, high and away, taking a strike with the four-seam fastball, 96 miles an hour, there by Luke Weaver, 0-1 count. Our hot streak had to end at some point, but I just really was hoping it wasn't going to be today. But at least we won the series, so we got to be at least happy about that. But 0-1 pitch, big, swing and a miss right down the middle. No balls and 2 strikes from Luke Weaver to Josh Naylor. Come on, Josh. You got to make up for that error and that shitty defense at first today. 0-2 pitch, little dribbler up the middle, routine play from Simeon, throw to first, 2 up and 2 down. Next up is Randy Arosarena. First pitch is low and away from Weaver to Arosarena, 1-0 count. One 0 pitch, hard hit ball in the right field, out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike from Weaver to Arosarena. I'll be watching tonight. You know, I'll definitely tap into the finals as well as the NHL Stanley Cup with Vegas and whatnot. So, you know, once it kind of gets to the end, you know, even though I may not be watching a lot, I mean, I pay attention, you know, every day on, you know, in the standings and then obviously the highlights, but I'm not going to be watching every game of the Kraken or a lot of games in the NHL when we got Mariners and other things going on. But, you know, obviously once it gets to the very end, I usually watch every game for the most part for the Stanley Cup finals and the NBA finals. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss. And especially if it's not on at the same time as the Mariners, then I don't have to worry about, you know, watching 2 at the same time. I can have my sole focus on the finals or the Stanley Cup. So, all right, end of the 8th inning. And we're going to the top of the 9th. We're down by 6. We're definitely losing this game, unfortunately, but I would love to at least get, you know, a cheap home run in the 9th if we can. You know, but again, at this point, we may end up losing 7-1, 8-1, or 9-1 the way the game has gone up to this point. Let's go to the top of the 9th, 2 for 4 with an RBI and a K. Leading off, first baseman Jared Young. Batting second, 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. In the 5-hole, third baseman Brett Beatty. And batting third, 0 for 4 with a K, second baseman in the 6-hole, Marcus Simeon. Trident's up, let's go M's. 98 subs to go to 24,300. Shout out to all of our new subs as well as our female audience and everyone watching in the United States, Canada, Mexico, South America, Asia, and beyond. We're at 12 on the dono train, 88 to go, I believe. And let's see where we're at on the likes with about 200 in the room. We're at 159. See if we can get to 175 before the game is over. All right, we're at 159 likes, 41 more to get to 200. Mariner Moose, we needed you today. '50th anniversary for the Seattle Mariners, 40 plus years on the radio. Rick Riz is retiring after this season. We wanted to make sure that he goes out with a bang. And again, every stream this season will be dedicated to the legend and the icon, Rick Riz. We love you. 7 runs, 14 hits, no errors for the Mets. 1 run, 6 hits, and an error for Seattle. And normally the score is flip-flopped based on how we've been playing in the 8-game win streak. But finally, we had an off game where nothing really went our way. Offense, pitching, defense, bullpen, everything going against us. And they still got Hoppy in there. Obviously, they don't want to use anyone else, you know, since we're more than likely losing this game unless we have the biggest comeback in MLB history in 2026 and being down by 6 runs and we come back and win 8-7 in the bottom of the 9th. But for that to happen, you'd have a serious meltdown. And the chance of that happening is very slim to none, as we know. 1-1 pitch. Little dribbler towards first. Young is there. Throw to Naylor, and that is 1 up and 1 down. Next up for Alex Hoppe. In the 5-hole, third baseman Brett Beatty. 0 for 4 with 3 Ks. On deck is Marcus Semien, the former Texas Ranger. First pitch to Beatty, a little slow dribbler. Hoppe is there, and Hoppe just takes it himself. Good job, and that is 2 away. Good inning so far here for Hoppe. And last but not least, hopefully the last batter that we'll face here, second baseman in the 6-hole, Marcus Semien. Right ends up. Let's go, M's. And on the bright side, we'll still be 3 games above 500. We're 33-29 right now. So we'll go to 33-30, more than likely. And the Mets are 26-35, and they'll improve to 27-35 if they win this game. Little dribbler up the middle. Emerson is there. Strong throw to first off the 1 hop, and Naylor drops it. Fuck. I need to see a replay to see how close that was. If that was on Emerson or if that was on Naylor again. It's a little low, but terrible try there by Josh. Puts his glove down and then it ends up hitting him in the leg. I mean, it was a little bit low, but we've seen Josh make that play again, and I assume the back is maybe one of those reasons. But probably the worst defensive game we've seen out of Naylor all season. Throw could have been a little bit better by Emerson. It was a little low, but it's not like we haven't seen Naylor make plays like that before. Next up is A.J. Ewing. First pitch is fouled off, 0-1 count. But I guess when it rains, it pours, right? When things are going good, everything is going good. When things are going bad, everything is going bad. And I guess that's the game that we have here today. But hopefully we get this out of our system, and then we can buckle up and kick some ass when we go to Detroit on Friday on the road. 0-1 pitch, low and away, 4-seam fastball, 98 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to A.J. Ewing. One pitch, takes a strike looking high and away with a slider, 88 miles an hour, 1 ball and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 2 outs. Top of the 9th inning, 7-1 New York. 1-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that is out number 3. All right, Mariners, we need a miracle of all miracles. We need 6 runs to tie, 7 to win. I mean, hell, at this point, I'd be happy if we just get 1. But we'll see what we get here. I wouldn't mind getting a cheap home run before this game is over. Next up, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, right fielder Luke Raley. Batting second, 1 for 3, second baseman Cole Clutch Young. And batting third, 0 for 1, Rob Refsnyder. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. 98 subs to go to 24,300. We're at 12 on the dono train, 88 to go. And let's see where we're at on the likes with 173 in the room. We're at 165. Can we get 10 more likes to get to 175? I mean, we're not going to be able to hit 200, but if we can hit 175, that would be a great number. Can we get 10 people out of the 180 in the room to hit that like button so we can get to 175? That would be fantastic. All right, Gerber is coming in here for the Mets. right, Joey Gerber coming in. All right, so we'll have Wu, Miller, and Castillo for our next 3 pitchers. So that definitely gives us a chance to win, 2 out of 3, unless Castillo plays well. But we got tomorrow off. We can put this behind us. And Rayleigh with the line drive and foul. Good. Hopefully we can get off to a good start, obviously, with Wu and Miller. And we won't have to worry about the piggybacking since we're going with the 6-man rotation right now. So having Miller pitch the whole game, after Wu, should give us a chance to win, 2 out of 3s. So 0-1 pitch from Gerber to Luke Rayleigh, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gerber to Rayleigh. One pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike to Luke Rayleigh. Two-one pitch, popped up in foul territory, and that is 1 away. Nice defense there by Beatty. 1 up and 1 down. All right, Mariners are down to their last 2 outs. We got Cole Clutch Young and then Rob Refsnyder. Ursula says we got to 175. I believe we're at 176 now, so see how close we can get to 200 before the game is over. And Young with a little dribbler up the middle, throw to first, and that is 2 up and 2 down. And we assume that will happen as well for Rob Refsnyder. So tough game, man. After winning 8 in a row and being the hottest team in baseball, we knew at some point it was going to come to an end. But when you're on cloud 9, you just want the rally to keep going forever. You just never want it to end. And again, congratulations to the Mets, for not, getting swept, after we swept the A's and the Diamondbacks. But hopefully we can put this loss behind us, have the day off. And then obviously on Friday, we're going to play the Tigers. And hopefully we'll be able to get back to where we were when we were on our 8-game win streak. 1-0 pitch, high and inside. 2 balls and no strikes to Rob Refsnyder. And then I'll go over the stats for both teams after this game ends, and then spend some time with the pup. And looking forward to spending time with the pup tomorrow as well. And we'll be back here on the channel on Friday. 2-0 pitch in there for a strike to Refsnyder. 2 balls and 1 strike from Gerber to Refsnyder. 2-1 pitch, high and inside. 3 balls and 1 strike to Rob Refsnyder. Three-one pitch, hard hit ball into left field, but it will stay in play, and that is out number 3. And that is the ball game. All good things come to an end. Final score, Mets 7, Mariners 1. And let's go over the stats here real quick. Not a whole lot to talk about, obviously, on the Mariners side, but we still do it on every game. All right, for the Mets, starting off, Carson Benj, 1 for 5 with a run. Bo Bichette with his best game in a Met uniform, 4 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. Juan Soto, 1 for 5 with a run. Jared Young, 2 for 5 with an RBI. Brett Beatty, 0 for 5. Marcus Semien, 0 for 5. AJ Ewing, 3 for 5 and a run. He had a great game. MJ Melendez, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. And then Luis Torrens, 2 for 4 with 2 runs. And then let's go with the Mariners here. I mean, JP Crawford did a great job, but what about everyone else? JP Crawford, 3 for 4 with an RBI and a home run. Julio, 0 for 3. Naylor, 0 for 4 in a terrible defensive game. Randy Arozarena, 0 for 3. Luke Rayleigh, 0 for 4. I mean, you can't have all those guys go, 0 for 14 between Julio, Naylor, Randy, and Rayleigh, and thinking you're going to win. Young, 1 for 4. Good job, Cole. Dominic Canzone, 1 for 2. Johnny Pareda, 1 for 2. And Colt Emerson, unfortunately, 0 for 3. And then, obviously, the main reason that we lost, this guy right here, his third bad start in a row, unfortunately. 4 innings pitched, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, 89 pitches, 60 strikes. And then we had Bizzardo giving up a Ferrer and Criswell were clean, and then Hoppy ended up giving up another run as well. So not ideal. All good things come to an end, but again, I'm not going to let this ruin my day. And again, I love this team, and we just got to be able to put this loss behind us, and hopefully we'll be able to get the job done on Friday when we play the Tigers. Final score, Mets 7, Mariners 1, but we did win the series, so keep positive. We've won 3 series in a row. The Athletics, the Diamondbacks with sweeps and winning 2 out of 3 against the Mets, so keep positive. And again, we're 33-30. We're still above 500, and that's exactly where we want to be. So final score, Mets 7, Mariners 1, and I got one question for you. Who talks sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. Tridents up and go Mariners.